Get a job. Yes, I think there's a lot of office back in my life. It's like, that's the price of stuff.
You like that?
No. I tell you, I'm not gonna do this anyway. This is just more.
In time.
It's not.
13 months. Yes. Yes, twins, no, Irish twins, that's what they call them. 13 months. I don't want to, I don't think they look alike at all, so.
All right, call my meeting to order. Stand, pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call shows we're missing Dr. Huff. Number 2, approval of agenda. We do have one item to add to, under number 6, new business. Number 3, the membership assistance fund, something we can talk about at the end. I entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the amended agenda.
Support.
Okay, motion by Sue, support by Kevin, that the amended agenda for September 15, 2025 be approved. Any discussion? Okay. Josh?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. All right, number 3, communications. We don't have any written correspondence. Anything from Ovid-Elsie personnel? Okay. We do not have any public participation that has to do with the agenda. So number 4, consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Support. Okay, motion by Josh, support by Mary. Any discussion? All right, do we have to roll call this, or can we just all in favor? Or not, items?
You can go, yeah, you can.
Just do all in favor. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, number 5, Board of Education reports. We have Penny here from MASB. You are first.
Okay. All right. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm not going to take up a lot of your time tonight, but enough time to answer some of your questions as you're thinking about going down the road of strategic planning. So I've been with MASB for a little over 6 years. I have served in your role once upon a time. Served in my local community on the board, 7 of 8 years as board president, so I've seen some interesting things happen, right? I also served in our administrators' roles. I was in the K-12 system. My last year in the K-12 system, we had 4 superintendents in 12 months, so that's a good time, right? And so I currently work for the Department of Ed. So I have my hat in a few different pots, so just so you know a little bit about myself. So the key work of our role as school board members, right, all falls within this circle here. Everything we do should involve like student achievement, right? So We got vision, we got accountability around the outside, policy, that's a big role for our school board members, community leadership, and as well as relationships. So strategic planning has to do with setting your vision, right, which we know is a key role for our district, and then creating the goals. It's kind of right, that we're setting for the district. Strategic plans typically live 5 years. We say 3 to 5 years, typically 5 years. So it doesn't matter if our superintendent, wins the Mega Millions and he shoots off to Costa Rica to grow pineapples, and we get a new superintendent in, our strategic plan doesn't change. She's like, yeah. It doesn't matter if our board members change as well. Strategic plan will remain for 5 years. Okay, so once you set that direction, that's the way we're rolling. Our goals for our board should evolve off our district goals. These are all created as part of the strategic plan as well. We have to evaluate our one employee, right? So it makes sense that their goals are tied into supporting the district goals. As well, our legislative friends have said that our superintendent needs to be evaluated, and that he's responsible for evaluating administration. Administration is responsible for evaluating our teachers. They should all be, supporting one another, supporting those district goals. What we don't want are silos. I was just working with another district on the east side. And we got through the retreat, we got to an implementation date, and somebody finally said, you mean we don't have to have different mission statements for each of our buildings? Like, no, we're one. We created one district goal statement. So again, it's that, where do we want to be? 5 years down the road, we're kind of setting the roadmap for where we want Ovid-Elsie schools to be. So why? Why invite Penny in to help support this work when we have a capable superintendent? He's like, really? That can do the work. Well, he's already got a lot on his plate. We're just gonna, there's a lot going on. So some of the benefits of using the outside facilitator, I have the time that is needed to help support the work. So part of our work is, we come out to the district, we're meeting with, I like to meet with middle school students, high school students. The reason we meet with middle school students is they still remember what they liked about elementary school, and they're hopeful for what high school is going to look like. We meet with staff, we meet with administrators, we would meet with you, board once again, and we do community sessions where we're asking questions of the community. We also, and I can share with you guys while I'm talking, you can look, we will, with your approval, select 5 comparison districts to Ovid-Elsie. So we end up creating binders. You guys can just look at these. They're just random ones that I've worked with lately. Where we're pulling all of the data for not only your district, but your comparison districts. And looking at like special ed numbers, we're looking at class size numbers based on your student population. The last one there, if you hire an outside facilitator, all of the survey information that is collected, and I would be the only one who sees the survey information in its entity, but it's not voidable. Whereas if you were to do that on your own or have your superintendent do that on their own. All of that information could be foiled. Okay, what else? Let's see. So part of the process, right, is we're kind of here today. We're talking about maybe pre-planning. What's this all about? The quantitative data, qualitative data, that's kind of what you're looking at right now. There's all kinds of data on test scores. We look at like personnel. Are you top heavy in your years of seniority for your teachers, or do you have a young group of teachers? Because that's something you need to be aware of as well. We will look at your schools of choice numbers, like where are your kiddos going, and who are you pulling from as well. So that's part of the data that's in those binders as well. But we create a survey, and that's, well, like I said, I come out to face-to-face, but we also set up an electronic survey. You can put it typically in your district webpage, share it out, blast it out, however you communicate with your parents and community. It's typically 4 questions. And tell us what the strengths are. What do we like about the district? And then one of the other questions is, where's those opportunities for improvement? What are we missing? One of the last questions is, I tell folks, if I could give you a magic wand, Kevin, money is no object, right? What would you want to see 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And then one of the other questions is barriers. You know, finances always falls in there, right? We have no idea what we're doing with the state budget as of yet, right? Yeah. So that's where that piece comes together. Strategic planning, this piece here, we spend a full day together. So, you know, with some districts, we've done a couple of evenings. Typically, it's a Saturday, a full day Saturday, 8 hours. By the end of that, we'll have a vision, mission, belief statements. Some districts may keep what they currently have. Some districts totally start over, right? Because it's a different group of people creating that, different beliefs along the way. But it's not just this team here. You're inviting administration in, community leaders, maybe a union rep along the way. I've had a couple of high school students participate before. So it's typically 35, 40 people that would be involved in the Saturday work session. And then we come up with goals along the way. So there's usually a goal for personnel, finance, operations goal, culture, learning environment goal, academics is a goal as well. Then I'll come back in this section here and work just with superintendent and administrative team. And we talk about, okay, now this is what the retreat team said they want to see for some goals. What are we going to do the first year? Remember, this is a 5-year plan. So what can we do the first year to make those come to life? And then I'll come back the next month and give you a final report where you as a board would adopt your vision, mission, and belief statements are formally adopted by the board, and then you move to your 5-year plan. This here, you know, some can get it done in 3 months, but you know, sometimes it's a little longer. I think I've heard you are interested maybe starting after the holidays, January, February, which is a good time to get that done with the thought in mind, right? Our schools, our district has to submit the MICIP, Michigan Continuous Improvement Plan, to the Department of Ed. The June 30th, by June 30th of every year. So ideally, right, it's nice if that plan is driven off of your strategic plan for the district. That's where MDE's hope, MASB's hope is that it's one silo instead of a bunch of different pockets along the way. Okay, I've thrown a lot at you so far. What questions are spinning right now? Yes?
What is the average time from start to finish on these strategic plans?
You know, okay, so ideally, let's just say we started in January, where we could come back, have, talk with you agree upon the 5 comparison districts you want to look at. We've set up a press release for you, talking about, there's going to be some community meetings and such. If you get that in January, we could set up your electronic survey, probably schedule a retreat, like Marchish, because we typically recommend having the survey out there for a month. A lot of districts lately, 600 is the magic number for responses. So you usually get a good deal of information that I get to look at. But at the retreat, I will give you a synopsis of what that is. And then, so I would say like 4 months probably is a more realistic. Yeah. I'm working with some, they started in the spring and then summer hits and nobody wants to meet in the summer. So I'm just finishing theirs up tomorrow night. So they stretch theirs out a little bit. That's where it is kind of nice to get it in the spring. It's still snowy, people don't mind meeting on a Saturday. Get that for you. All right. That's just that pre-planning process we talked a little bit about. Where we come out, we talk about your comparison districts, talk about, no, you're fine. Where you, when you might want to hold a retreat, where. Some hold it off-site. You would probably need a room a little bit bigger than this one, because you're not just sitting all day long. You're up and moving, and whether we used this room and a couple of other rooms, but it's an active day. Got it. Keep you moving. We've talked about, there's that stakeholder, those face-to-face input sessions. They're generally an hour each. So I would meet with middle school, high school kiddos again, meet with staff. I typically like to meet with the board first, and then I like to meet with the administrators so they understand the process and they can encourage teachers and such to attend. Once the board has their input session, we encourage you not to participate in the others, just as we don't encourage administrators to attend the staff sessions, because, I was a principal once upon a time too. There's always in the back of your mind, they evaluate me and I say something, so we just try to leave those pieces off the table so people are more open and honest to get you the information that you need. We do the data audit. That's everybody that comes to the retreat gets a handy dandy binder with all the comparison data, and we'll review that along the way. The day of the retreat, we have a few different activities, right? Just so people in the room can hear one another's thoughts. And even at the last one, sometimes it's not bad idea to have that person that's maybe a thorn in your side, we'll just say, who's always very negative. Sometimes bringing them in where they can hear others and how they're thinking kind of helps move them to be a little more supportive along the way. But, yeah. Okay. Implementation planning, this is the piece where I'm just working with superintendent and his team to come up with, okay, we gotta get this done. So that piece leaves you open to do other things as well. And then, we come back. You'll get a final report. MASB always keeps the information as well, so we had schools in the past where superintendents change, administrative assistants have changed, people don't know where the strategic plan is. Yeah, so we'll always keep one on hand as well. We can come back and support annually to help our superintendent and their team if they choose to do that on an annual basis. Like, okay, this is year 2, now what are we gonna tackle along the way? So this is just another example. I kind of set this up for you. So here we are in September, our little Board of Education presentation. You do have a proposal for NASB. You can sign that whenever you feel comfortable in moving forward with the process. That'll, kind of set your timeline for you. If we started in January with the stakeholder input, doing that data collection, February, like I said, we keep that survey open usually 30 days. In that time, we're creating the binders for you, having that retreat maybe in March. Gotta look when spring break is, that always comes into play as well. Implementation workshop usually is at least 2 weeks after the retreat. So however we can put that into the schedule and then come back to you. April, May is a pretty realistic timeframe.
I have a question. So obviously in the state of school budgets and financial, and we want the information, and our goal would be if we were to do it to start in January. How long, since we don't have a budget, how long do we have to act on the proposal before we can't?
That's a good question. I don't think Debbie has like a timeline. Now, if you're, going over a year or something, there would probably be an update, but yeah.
I know when we did our superintendent search, she came, but then we held off. We still had time up until a certain point. So would it be like, if we did it and we were financially able to do it, as long as we decided before January, then that's still okay?
Should start before January?
No. If we didn't make a decision until, once we knew more.
Yeah, I'll check with Debbie Steer, who's the director for this part of MASB, to see, and I'll email you tomorrow. I've had her revamp other proposals. So I think as long as you're not going over, 6 months, 9 months.
It just says this proposal is good for 6 months for the date provided.
Thank you, there you go. Thanks, Becky. All right. I did mention we will provide the templates, type them all up. All you need to do is get them released as to, hey, the board has approved this process to get started, and then there are templates for invitations that you can use for community. So we really doing all the work for you, and then you're just putting it on your platform or however you're sharing out that information along the way. Invitations for participating in the retreat as well. So here's your little to-do list. Approve the process within 6 months, right? Provide input. We have to come back. We typically would have a meeting, like maybe prior to a board meeting, a lot of districts do, or we're just kind of having a conversation. You're answering the same questions that you would see on the electronic survey. We're just doing it in a face-to-face format. Your role is to encourage participation. Get your spouses some will send their spouses to the community sessions, that type of thing. But you want to encourage that participation because you're all each representing different parts of the community or different ages and kids in the school. So you have different contexts along the way. Maybe you've got some ideas of some individuals who would be good to participate in that retreat. You've got some folks that are on your parent group, athletics. You want just a wide range. of individuals. We would hope that we could get all 7 of you to participate in a retreat. So, the dates based on however, you select. And then, after the retreat, you're kind of quiet for a month or so. We'll come back, you formally adopt. Usually there are no changes once we leave the retreat session, that vision, mission, beliefs. Sometimes we have to do wordsmithing at the implementation meeting, but generally, at the end of the retreat what those are going to be. So there's no surprises along the way. And then you're just kind of monitoring that progress. Remember, it should become part of your superintendent's evaluation and their goals along the way. So you're getting reports on how we're doing. Okay, so it's not, I don't want to say extra work, but it's very focused, streamlined, and again, it's that roadmap. What other questions do you have for me? Good? All right, I'm going to gather those binders back up. Okay, thank you. Yeah, and reach out if you do have any questions along the way. Got my notes in there?
Somebody cheated, I like that.
That's in my notes. Okay.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you. All right. Okay. Right here. There you go. Have a good rest of your meeting.
All right, number 5B, superintendent report.
Thank you, Rick. I want to just mention that I did hold 2 coffee chats last weekend, before this past week. And to give a quick summary of some of the things, I talked to 10 to 12 different people for quite a while. And it seemed that many were unaware of our student count trends over the past 10, 15 years, and how we've been declining enrollment. And then also several had some misconceptions of our fund balance. Some thought that we were completely out of our fund balance. And so to share with you the details of where we're at. So those are a couple different areas that were common themes where I think we can get some information put out just to help with that. We do have a board workshop scheduled for next Monday. I talked with Mark Palmer today, and we're getting things ready for that, so that should be a productive work session. We have a finance committee meeting set for October 6th at 6 p.m. And the topic of that is going to be the bond refinance option that I shared some information to the board with. It's going to be a Q&A session just to make sure that people understand the process. And then we would decide as a committee if it's something we would bring to the board at a regular October meeting. Or informative at that point. I want to give a quick student count estimate. While we won't have an actual number till student count day. Just to let you know, we were at 1275 last year in the district. The budgeted amount for student count was 1262, and our current estimate is 1256, which is 6 below what our budgeted amount was. So that's something we'll have to take into account. Obviously, we don't have a budget yet from the state. We'll have to make an adjustment and take into account those numbers as well. I want to let the board know that I will be attending the MASA Fall Conference. That's this week, Wednesday through Friday. I'm sure we're going to be talking about, well, the last item on my thing is the K-12 budget. Last week, a group of us went to Lansing, held a press conference, and we're just trying to bring to light to everybody that'll listen, the importance of getting this budget passed. Once we hit October 1st, that's where the state, if they don't have a budget, they shut down. We are okay in terms of continuing at Ovid-Elsie, because we do have a healthy fund balance. Other districts do not, and some districts may have to shut their doors at that time. So it's really gonna come to a head here in just a couple of weeks. And hopefully it doesn't get all the way up to October 1st, because other districts have already had to spend money trying to get loans for the district, and just starting that process is not cheap. Luckily, we do have enough of a fund balance where we're sitting in a positive place for now, but we wouldn't wanna, go indefinitely just using that. So that concludes my report.
Number 6, new business, a contract.
Yep, I had mentioned that we may be coming back fairly quickly, and I'm glad we are. Sadie Cassidy has now received a teaching certificate for the state of Michigan, so she will be put on the teacher pay scale with benefits to be part of the actual teacher contract. So I would ask for the board to approve this.
Entertain a motion.
I move that the Board of Education extend the contract to Sadie Cassidy, an elementary teacher for the 25-26 school year, effective September 7th, 2025.
Support. Motion by Kevin, support by Mary to extend a contract to Sadie Cassidy, an elementary teacher for the 2025-2026 school year at VA Step 1, effective September 7th, 2025. Any discussion? Okay, roll call. Kevin?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Number 2.
Okay, this one is a resignation with regret for Becky Keisch, paraprofessional in the district.
I move the Board of Education accepts with regret the resignation of Rebecca Kite as paraprofessional effective September 12, 2025.
Support.
Okay, motion by Becky, support by Kevin to accept with regret the resignation of Rebecca Keisch as paraprofessional, effective September 12, 2025. Any discussion? Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Number 3, membership assistance fund.
So this one is actually information that was recently brought to me from an employee of MASB. It involves a possibility we can apply to get up to $1,500 reduction in the cost of a strategic plan. And in order to apply for that process, we have to have a board motion and action to do that. And so what this is not committing to anything in terms of MASB and saying we're gonna go ahead and do this. This would allow me as superintendent to at least apply for this reduction in price with the process.
Okay, so I will make a motion to authorize Ovid-Elsie area schools to apply to the MASB membership assistance fund for a 50% discount on MASB service not to exceed $1,500 and authorize the superintendent to submit all required documents.
Support.
So, motion by me, support by Kevin, any discussion?
50% or $1,500?
Up to $1,500.
And is there any, membership dues when you apply?
We already pay them every year.
Okay.
Okay, roll call?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes. All right, additional public participation at board meetings. Mr. Jones?
The past 2 board meetings, I've read board policy 0144.2 regarding board member ethics. And it seems the only response from the board was to issue a new warning, threatening statement before the public comment portion of the meeting. So with that new warning statement in mind, I will choose my words carefully here. I'll add that everything that I'm going to say is a fact. It is currently FOIA-able and public information. There will be no editorial commentary from me, or my entire statement has been vetted by our legal counsel. Members of my family who work for the school district feel uncomfortable and anxious every day if they go into work due to our family feeling targeted by 3 members of this board. I spoke in front of the board on June 16th, and I asked these 3 board members to cease and desist. The behavior that my family felt was targeting in nature. The very next day, June 17, 2025, we received notification from U of M Sparrow's compliance department that an employee, Allison Cadlock, without authorization, illegally accessed my daughter Madison Kramer's medical records 17 times from February 24th, 2024, 2 days after my daughter's accident, until as recently as April 29th, 2025. On July 30th, 2025, we received notification from Owasso Memorial's compliance department that an employee, Allison Cadlock, without authorization, illegally accessed my daughter Madison Kramer's medical records 2 times, on August 22nd and August 29th, 2025. Neither myself nor my wife nor my daughter Madison know Allison Cadlock, and she no longer works for U of M Sparrow nor Memorial Healthcare. There is currently an ongoing felony investigation with the Michigan State Police and the Shiawassee County Prosecutor's Office, where we are seeking to understand the following. Why and how were her records accessed? Where did the information go after it was obtained? With whom was it shared, if anyone? What was the intent of the individual who committed these crimes? Why am I telling you all of this? Again, per our legal counsel, I think it's incredibly important to the entire district and all board members to mention the following. If anyone on this board had knowledge of, were a party to, received any of this protected medical information, or made any board-related decisions based on this illegally obtained information, they would potentially be putting the entire board and the school district as a whole in grave legal peril. Thank you.
Thank you. Other matters which may come before the board. I did want to share, Charlie Green reached out. He wanted me to share with all of you that he was offering the opportunity that if 2 board members decided to take up this option, he would pay their tuition costs. If we had 2 members who wanted to be part of the upcoming Dale Carnegie course, it will be on Thursday nights for about 12 weeks. So if anyone has interest and availability in their schedule, just let me know. I know it's starting pretty soon. You said you had already shared that you couldn't. I know I can't based on work things, so just kind of throwing it out there if anyone else is interested. He said he's got members or people like from elementary age all the way up to 80 years old signed up. So there's a variety of community people. It's just an opportunity for people on the board. Hearing from board members?
I do have something I'd like to read, if I may. It's difficult, but I'd like to make a statement, please. The situation involving my nearly 30-year-old adult child has absolutely nothing to do with my work as a member of the Board of Education. I'm not party to the case, was not involved in any way, and have no firsthand knowledge of these allegations. Any attempt to link my public role to this private matter is false and misleading. While I love and support my family, it is important to acknowledge a simple truth. Parents cannot control the decisions of their adult children. Each of us, once grown, must take responsibility for our own actions. My child's decisions are theirs alone and in no way connected to my work on this board. Unfortunately, the public comment period has been used to spread baseless claims and conspiracy theories about me. Simply put, public comment is not intended for personal attacks on board members when it's unrelated to their official duties. Under established law, such comments may be ruled out of order. Let me be clear, public comment exists to discuss legitimate district business, not propagate unfounded accusation. I respectfully caution both the public and the media against conflating a private matter with my role on the board. Irresponsible commentary and reporting spreads misinformation and does a disservice to our community, not to mention these accusations are on a slippery slope of defamation. Every minute we spend on these rumors is one less minute devoted to the well-being of our students. I hope we can refocus in the future. Thank you.
Motion by Kevin, support by Becky. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.